I'm going to introduce Zach. Otto,
Yeah.
thank you so much, and I'm going to let you do all your introducing. How's that for an introduction?
All right. Well, I am Zach Otto. I'm from town here. I live about 7 miles east of town on County 25. I'm a business owner. I own Limestone Fire and Security, which is more of a commercial fire alarm, but I have a lot of residential security customers, and I do a lot of camera stuff for commercial businesses as well. Cameras and security systems and fire alarms, all low voltage systems, everything the electricians don't want to do. But we're going to talk about some home security today. The biggest thing that everyone is getting into, here we go, is cameras. You have wireless versus wireless cameras. Or sorry, wireless versus wired cameras. So typical ones you see online, Facebook, Amazon, is the Ring cameras or the Blink cameras. They are subscription-based cameras, which means you pay a monthly subscription to store your videos and what happens in front of the camera. The Ring that you see here is a doorbell. It replaces your doorbell on your house, reports the video to your phone, and you can view who's at your front door. The Blink camera is a battery-powered wireless camera. That one has a power cord because it can be powered from an outlet if you placed it in a windowsill. But that also reports to an app on your cell phone and will show you what's going on. It'll give you a notification saying that something is moving, which it could be a deer, it could be a cat, it could be the mailman, or someone trying to get into your house. So there is wired ones. Existing homes, not always easiest to get the wires around, but can be installed through attics. But there's limitations to these cameras, and they're not always going to be perfect. There are some cell phone cameras, which is more for a remote location. As long as there's cell service, you can add it to a line on your phone provider. You can get your mobile alerts. This is a more expensive route to go. They're similar to the game cameras for in the woods. They have an antenna and solar panels to keep them charged, but there is batteries in them that get recharged by the solar panel. Like I said, remote locations, cabins, wooded property, remote properties that you want to monitor whether people are coming and going through the access points of the property. Some pros and cons of wireless versus wired cameras. We'll start with the wireless ones. The pros are they are cost effective. They're a lot less than a wired system because of labor time to install. You don't always have labor time if you're going to do it yourself, but there's not always people that want to do things themselves. You can get phone notifications from wireless and wired, but the phone notifications on a wireless camera, they're cloud-based. So you pay for a monthly subscription, what could be anywhere from $3 a month to $12 a month, and that's ever changing. It's always, everyone's trying to make money, completely understandable. A couple cons, you need reliable Wi-Fi. They are not always sending signals if they don't have Wi-Fi. If they don't have connection to your phone, you're not going to receive a notification if middle of the night, you're out of town, whatever the case may be, you get a notification to notify you that someone's at your place of residence. Battery replacement is required on a lot of these wireless cameras, and that could be costly depending on the activity on the camera itself. If it's a driveway and you can see the road, it will notify you every time a car drives by within the range and the sensitivity of the camera. And like I said, cloud-based storage, monthly fee, it's backed up by the cloud. Wireless cameras can be hacked into by the unwanteds. That's not the greatest thing. A lot of people want to use them in their nurseries, in their houses, to be able to have their phone and go outside and be able to view their child sleeping or whatever the case may be. Pets, a lot of people put them in to see what their pets are doing at home while they're gone. But yes, they're much easier to get in from the outside world to view things that don't need to be viewed by people that aren't the responsible party, homeowner, whatever that case may be. Wired systems, wired cameras. Pros, there's always a customer support behind them, most of them local to the US here. They're a lot more reliable because they are a wired connection. There's no dependency on the wireless internet to be present to store or view the footage, because you could have a monitor stored in a closet or in a mechanical room where you could always go back and view footage at a later date. Most storage is at least 30 days in a lot of cases. So if you notice that something is gone or missing from your property and you know it was there 2 weeks ago, very high likely, if the camera is in, or if it's in view of the camera, you will be able to find that footage of, it could be very likely be someone grabbed it, moved it to a different location, and you don't know what happened or don't recall doing it yourself.
Zach?
Yeah.
A couple questions.
Yes.
Zach, on the wireless, you said battery replacement. What kind of batteries do they use?
All different kinds. Yeah, so some of them are as simple as a lithium, something that's rechargeable, AA battery, to a 9-volt battery, to their CR132As, very small battery, a little bit more expensive than a AA. But yeah, there could be self-contained batteries that you can only get from the manufacturer too, as well as.
They eat batteries, huh?
They do. If the camera is active, they will eat batteries. Yep.
Then on your recording, does that automatically, you said probably 30 days, does it keep kind of adding and subtracting?
Yeah, so once it hits the 30 days of recording, it starts recording over the top of the oldest stuff. Now there are settings on them where you can make motion clips. Someone walks across your property or walks through the camera image, it can be set up to store that motion clip longer, because they're always recording in the background whether there's motion or not. If you turn on the right settings, it will store that motion clip longer and not overwrite. It'll overwrite all of the stuff that's non-motion or just a normal, something going on, nothing going on in your yard. But yes, that's the other thing too. Birds flying by or bees. That's a big thing. A lot of people are getting notifications in the middle of the night on these Blink cameras and the Ring cameras because bugs in the middle of the night, they're flying around it, and when they're close enough to the camera thinks it's a person walking through, and your phone will go off all night, unfortunately. You had a question.
On the wired systems,
Yep.
is there battery backup if you lose power?
It can be installed, yes. So what I do on a good majority of my systems, if the customer would like that, I put in a battery backup power supply. So a UPS, it is essentially a surge protector with a 12-volt battery in it, and it will run the system for 24 hours at least.
Can
Thank
that
you.
battery be recharged?
It's always plugged into the wall on a constant charge, and the battery can be replaced and all of that. Yes. Yeah.
That's good for us to know in the country,
Yes.
because if your power goes out,
Yeah.
so then you would have a backup of.
Yes, and I tell a lot of my customers to plug your internet router and your camera system, stuff that if your power goes out, doesn't mean that whoever your provider is, Frontier or Nuvera or HBC, that doesn't mean that their power's out. So you could still have your internet and still get your notifications as long as your phone is charged and your battery is good in the power supply, the backup power supply.
Thank you.
Yeah. So pros on the wired, you still get phone notifications. It is a app on your phone. All manufacturers have their own app to where you can manage all the settings and everything on your phone, whether you have a home in Texas and a home here in Minnesota, a lot of snowbirds. But you can still get the notifications on your phone just like the wireless cameras. Like I said, the customer support for these local or US manufacturers of the wired camera systems is very well. You may have to sit on hold for a support person, but they're very helpful, very knowledgeable. And also there's a lot of contractors within the state that do cameras, and there's a lot of manufacturer backing, with the Blink cameras and the Ring cameras. You're buying, depending on who you purchase through, you can purchase on Amazon, you can purchase at Home Depot, you can purchase at Menards, these wireless cameras. And you can buy wired systems at these locations as well. But the backing, I have a 1-year warranty through my suppliers to where, and I also provide a 1-year warranty on installation and quality of workmanship. If something goes down that is due to my negligence, it will be replaced, no cost. After a year, who's to say something didn't happen with the equipment failing itself? Could have to replace a camera here or there, but same with wireless systems. Technology, electronics, things go bad. It happens. Cons. Wired systems are more costly because of install time. Whether it's your own time doing the install, your time is valuable. My time is valuable, and everybody knows as a business you want to turn a profit. So labor time, labor cost is a majority of the cost of a wired system because, like I said, you can go to Sam's Club and buy a 4-camera kit, install it yourself for $500 for a good one, or have somebody install it for you, but you're going to pay some labor time, or if you have family members that are gracious enough to know what they're doing and do it for you. Another con, kind of covered the contractor may be needed for the installation. They're also more difficult to finish or to install in a finished building. You have a lot of homes that are fully finished, no open basement, no open ceilings to get wires throughout the house. You can always jump in an attic if possible. Not always possible to get into the attic, get to locations of where cameras are desired in the home.
I have a question on the installation.
Yes.
Does it need to be, the wired cameras, do they need to be professionally installed to be a warrantable, you know, if you do it
Yes.
yourself, is it?
Depending on the manufacturer. Yep, so there's some manufacturers through the supply house that I get my stuff that will not allow even a purchase without a licensed contractor. So I'm licensed with the state of Minnesota. I also hold my own power limited license with the state of Minnesota, which I follow current codes. I do 16 hours of continuing education every year to make sure that I'm keeping up with all of the updates throughout that. And that's a nationwide code. So NFPA 70, 72, and all of the other systems. There's a million different codes to follow there. Yes.
Zach, can you make a few comments about the quality of the picture for both systems?
Quality of the picture is very similar. I often find whether you put a 4K, which is a great resolution right now, TV on the wall or your cell phone, the picture is going to look better on your cell phone. But all of the cameras are updating every day. All the technology we're buying right now, they are phasing out and bringing out the new stuff, just like cell phones, just like computers updating. They're always updating, trying to make things better. So you buy cameras now, they're going to have high resolution images. There's really no difference between the wired or wireless. I think we're all the way up to, there's a lot. There's a lot of different variables, but if you have the right equipment, cell phones are very versatile. They can look at old equipment and new equipment and still give you a much clearer image. But when, you know, if you can hook these up to your TV screen on your house and view your image here, you look at this image here and on your cell phone, it's always more crisp and clean and better at the palm of your hand. So there's really no image difference between the two, wired or wireless. But there is some installation qualities, I guess, that should be met. Your best image is going to come from a camera that's mounted between 8 and 12 feet. If you get above that, you're going to get a picture. If it's on your front door, someone comes to your house, you're going to get an image of the top of a lot of people's heads. Unless they're looking up, you know, facial recognition is a big thing right now. There's a lot of AI intelligence in these cameras. On the wired cameras, you can set them up to know that if it's a vehicle or a deer or a rabbit, a cat, whatever it may be, and it will not notify, it will not record because of the properties of the camera. They will distinguish what is what. But like I said, when bugs get up close to the lens, it doesn't have much of a depth perception per se. So a bee or a mosquito or a fly in front of the camera lens here could look like a human walking across your yard. The camera's not that sophisticated, but it will definitely try to do its best. There are other security solutions for your home. This is a wireless security system. So there'd be door sensors, window sensors, glass break sensors, motion sensors, garage door sensors, and can be operated from your phone. There are systems that can open a garage door if you're out of town. Security systems arm. You can open your garage door from that, let somebody in, arm, disarm, view packages dropped off that, you know, if you're out of town for a week, and mail's always coming. If you have someone monitoring your mailbox and getting your mail into your house, you can arm, disarm. You can make user codes that expire after a certain amount of time, so that if someone is allowed access to your house for the week you're gone, go in and put your mail on the counter, leave your house, arm your system, back and forth. There's sirens on these. They're very loud. I have one installed in my house, and it will wake up everybody. And I've also been told that my neighbor that lives a quarter of a mile away can hear my siren that's inside my house when it goes off. We've had some odd scenarios. They're not always the greatest outcome. Security contacts go bad. I had one that the wind blew a window that wasn't locked shut just enough, flickered the contact, set the security system off, dispatched police, and there was nothing to be concerned of. Woke me up in the middle of the night, high alert situation. But yes, they can be programmed to dispatch police automatically. Just like a security system that's wired in your house, this is wireless, a lot more installation friendly. You can peel and stick, screw them to your finished walls, and screw them to finished trim on your windows if you really want to do that. But peel and stick, a little bit of Goo Gone on if you decide to get rid of it, cleans everything up really well. But yes, there's very sophisticated things. You can make the display screen a photo album if you want to, that will just scroll through pictures of family members and pets, whatever may be placed on that system. They can also be report to your phone, report to police. They can be set up for fire, so you can put your smoke detectors connected to these as well if that's a desire. And yeah, so that's home security. Like I said, just like cameras, wireless is the more cost-effective. Wired, it's always harder to get wires throughout your house when it's finished. A little bit more not cost-friendly, and could result in painting, patchwork of drywall if wires need to get to places in an absolute last-ditch effort. On our part, we do everything we can to not create holes where they don't need to be. And there's combinations. You can go wired and wireless. There's a million different options out there. Everybody's making cameras. Everybody's making security systems. The biggest ones are Honeywell, which is throughout a lot of people's homes. Your thermostats. You can program them to open and close blinds. You can program them to turn on lights outside at a certain time every day. You can control your thermostat from it. So, like I said, the snowbirds can monitor the temperature of their house when they're gone, especially if you're a long ways away. Make it look like your home is occupied by turning on one single light in your house every evening, exterior lights, and so on. All right, so some home security tips. Locations are everything. Cameras there are some different cameras where you can get a 360-degree view, but that's a lot more expensive and not likely to be on a home most of the time, unless money is not an issue for some people. But locations of cameras around the home, they get about a 90-degree angle. So the corner of your house, if you turn it outside, that's what it's going to cover. So if there's specific areas that you want to see 180 degrees, 2 cameras may be required. And like I said, 8 to 12 feet above ground is going to be your best image to avoid getting a lot of top of heads approaching doorways, windows. The doorbell cameras on the wireless side of things, obviously doorbell height, they have a lot wider lens, so they're gonna see, you know, on this wall, you would be able to see fairly certain this whole room from a certain point back. The deterrence without the need of a security system, there's a lot of window stickers can be put on doors or yard signs that a lot of people put up that will deter a lot of unwanteds. Motion activated floodlights. There's also camera floodlights now on the wireless side of things. Ring makes a floodlight, and I believe Blink also makes a floodlight now. You can replace it. It has a camera built in, but like I said, that's a cloud-based storage on those is a monthly cost. Keep your valuables away from window view. Keeping all your windows and doors locked, whether you're home or not. If the windows are open, obviously it's not going to be a locked situation. But yes, keeping everything locked up. A lot of people have views that they grew up with. I'm one of them. I am not a person that locks things up, but I have other deterrents. Keep your grass cut, leaves raked, snow shoveled, etc. to indicate a well cared for home and possibility of someone being home. Never leave a note on the door as to why you're not home or if you're returning in 15 minutes. That's something we see a lot on businesses, but came to us when we were creating this presentation that, well, that's just an easy in. I got 15 minutes, or if I'll be back at 11 o'clock, I got a half hour to get in and get out if there's no security system. And then safety bars, I'm not sure if anybody is aware of those, but your sliding glass doors are commonly left unlocked. Putting a bar behind it so the door cannot be opened and slid open is a very good and cost-effective way to keep someone out from an unintentionally unlocked sliding glass door. And then if you suspect a break-in when you're not home, do not enter. Call authorities, treat it as if someone's in your house, and go from there. Any more questions, comments, concerns?
We had a previous presentation here.
Yes.
And the gentleman, I can't remember who it was, they talked about the importance of keeping shrubbery low around your house.
Yes.
You want to make any comments about that?
Yes. So if you have cameras in a situation where there's cameras, trees and branches and shrubbery that is moving in the wind or something like that will create a notification to your phone if they're linked up, or it will record. If it's a windy day, your system could record all day if something is moving in front of the image. Like I said, busy roads, if there's traffic all day going back and forth, it's going to keep recording every time a car drives by. Things can be masked out, but if you're going to install things yourself, there's not always the knowledge to go in and create the grid to block out a road or a tree in the yard. There's vantage points above where you really need to see. Above 6 feet, underneath a tree, something like that. You don't really need to worry about recording the sky space, because unless people can start flying, you don't really need to worry about that stuff. But yes, keeping your shrubbery maintained, cut low around windows and doors. There's very possible for people to hide behind shrubs, wait for you to leave, and that's when they go in. Anybody else? Yes.
Oh, go ahead, Carl.
What's the average cost to install a reasonably good system? What's the average cost of having monitored monthly?
For a home security system, average cost to have it installed would be in the $1,200 range, depending on how far. If you want all your windows, all your doors, glass break detectors and motion detectors throughout your house, the more you add, obviously, the more cost is gained. But monitoring by a central station is what we call it, who automatically dispatches police or fire if you have the properties on your security system. Monthly monitoring is about $30, give or take, depending on who does the monitoring. I provide a monitoring service, and that's what I charge my customers. ADT is a very common home security system. Now, they lock you in a contract. You pay $100 a month for so long, and that covers the install of the security system. By that first year, you've paid for all the equipment or majority of the equipment that's in your house, and then you keep paying that $100 a month on top of that. It's the downfall of going with a bigger corp.
Does anyone know what that is?
That's your fire alarm system.
Thank you.
Is the $1,200 figure,
Yeah.
does that include the equipment or just the labor?
That includes the equipment and a lot of the labor.
Okay.
Yeah, I just gave a figurative number. I mean, if you have a large home, yeah, and depending on whether you want wired or wireless, the wireless devices cost more, but there's a lot less install time. If you want wired, depending on how much you want, doors and windows, getting wire installed.
Just for the equipment
Yeah, no, that,
or the system?
right. And if you're a frequent Amazon person and you want to tackle it yourself, there's kits on Amazon that are the same things that I buy through my suppliers. You might not get the warranty through Amazon or through Honeywell Home or whoever, Residio now. You might not get that warranty, but it is a peel and stick. It's a very easy for a technology savvy person. It's very, very easy to get things going.
Home insurance.
Yes.
If you have a security system, does that lower your premium?
Yes, the security system, as far as covering your doors and windows and stuff like that, yes, you'll get a benefit. Cameras, I don't believe there is a benefit to homeowners insurance or anything like that.
Some of us live in the country and you can't see the entrance to the road. Do you have something, what would signal?
Yes, so there are driveway sensors that is a pressure sensor you could bury underneath your driveway, and you can set them up to ring your doorbell in your house. There's a lot of non-security system devices that can be implemented. I've done a few driveway sensors to where you bury a wire, or there's some wireless ones. You can bury a wire from your house, tie into your doorbell transformer, and a driveway pressure sensor will set off your doorbell to notify you that someone's driving in the driveway. There is different bells, so you don't get confused by going to the door. You can install doing that as well. There are wireless ones. There's range limitations. And then also they detect something walking through it, so it could be a deer going through, or a rabbit, or a turkey, or all the country living amenities can hurt and help the situation. So yes,
Most of us have completed homes.
yes,
So when you wire that, do you tend to suggest you up and run them, crawl around up in the attic and
yes,
do the wiring?
yes.
Or do you put it under the eaves? Or-
Depending on the customer's desire, we can tuck it behind siding corners and enter through the rim joists going into the basement if you have an unfinished basement or a unfinished portion that's accessed from the outside. You know, a lot of times go into the mechanical room, which is normally not a finished space. Or, like I said, tuck it in siding corners. There's exterior rated wiring that can be hidden in a lot of cases around the outside of the home. But yes, attic access is greatly used. And yeah, attic access is wonderful as long as it's accessible.
Does research show that people that try to break in your homes, they have a way to cut outside if you don't run it inside the house?
Yes, but if they're getting to a wire, as long as your cameras are covering the right areas, there's going to be some sort of footage up until the wire gets clipped. So if all the cameras are on the front of your house and the wiring goes all the way around to the back side and they come in from the backyard, clip the wires, unfortunately, then there's not a great resolution for that unless you cover your backyard with a camera.
But wouldn't they need ladders? And that's
Pending.
unusual.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely a lot of times they would need something to get to a certain height. If it's ground level, then yeah, they're a lot more prone to getting cut. But avoid anything that's accessible at all times. I mean, anything from the ground. A thief's not normally going to carry a ladder with them unless they really want something that's inside your home.
Zach, do you do, if we're interested in this,
Yes.
you would do a home survey and
Yeah.
make a suggestion?
Yep.
how to-
Free quotes, home surveys. Yes. Yep. That's definitely an option. And if it's just a helpful hint, this is what I would do from a professional aspect, by all means.
Great, I think you'll be able to hang around for.
Yeah, for a little while. Yep.
Great, thank you very much, I
Yep.
appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.